My name is Acting Relic, and welcome back to Warframe. Warframe has finally gotten, or at least PlayStation 4 Warframe, has finally gotten its biggest expansion, at least space-wise, known as the Plains of Eidolon. This is going to be sort of a overall review of Plains of Eidolon and sort of some of the updates to Warframe on PlayStation 4 and how it's been going and how it's improved the game and also changed the game in some ways. So, Plains of Eidolon has brought a new location to Earth in the form of the actual plains, and good lord, there are a lot of people out on the plains today. And the town of Cetus. To do this accurately, I think it's only fair to look at it from the state of point, in as much information as possible, from a point of what has been added, what are the pros of what has been added, what are the cons. Because this expansion is not without its problems. And then near the end, we'll talk about sort of Warframe as a whole. So, let's get started, shall we? So as far as additions go to Warframe through Plains of Eidolon, as I previously stated, the new additions are two new locations on Earth. The actual plains themselves, which is a large 5 square kilometer map, with various hills, valleys, rivers, lakes, mountains, and trees. And the town of Cetus, which is the home of the Ostrom, which I believe are... I don't know what they are exactly. I don't know if they're not human, and they're not really Orcan. They're somewhere in between, by the looks of it. We have also gained the addition of the new Focus 2.0 system and how it has changed the way that we look at both our focus trees and our operators, and combining sort of the two, because beforehand we had transference was just changing into your operator to use the little hand beam or the shockwave pulse. Or the dash moves, which were really only useful for the War Within, Kuva, and attacking certain enemies that have high level of defense to various elements, such as Stalker. Stalker is a really good candidate for using the hand beam attack on. So the old focus system is completely gone now. We no longer have the R1, L1, pop your trigger, unleash your 10-0 to either do like Xenurix, capture wave, or the ion core laser thing. I don't actually remember many of the names of how they all work because they've all been reworked, and I only really played with Xenurix because of the energy restore properties. So they've made the operators a little more combative. They now start at, I believe, 250 health. Yes, you can fit them out with weapons, armor, and specialized arcanes to improve their damage, health, and energy restore rates. Pretty much the only other additions to the game have been to add in a set of new weapons and one new frame in the form of Gara, the glass Warframe. And Gara is either unlocked through purchasing or by completing a quest for the Ostrom and slowly unlocking her pieces by doing bounties out on the plains. So with all these additions to the game, what are the positives and what are the negatives? Well, let's start with the positives. Number 1, the plains themselves. So not only are the Plains of Eidolon impressive in size, they're also one of the most visually impressive areas in Warframe. Sporting an array of mountains, hills, valleys, lakes, and rivers, the plains have a very good sense of scale and allow the player to learn the map based on landmarks. Also, the artists and animators at DE that re-engineered their water engine deserve an award. This might be some of the best water I've seen in games thus far. 2. Mining and fishing. Along with all this new space comes a host of new resource and material types. Chief among them are the materials gathered through mining and fishing. I'd personally say fishing is the big winner between the two, due to the variety of fish to catch in both fresh and salt water, and the addictive pattern of just wanting to catch one more fish before logging off for the day. Mining still has its fair share of fun to be had, giving the players the chance to go on a small treasure hunt for gems, combined with an interesting pattern-solving puzzle game. Number 3. Bounties and Ostrom Standing. This time around, instead of having traditional mission types out on the plains, we are given bounties, which consist of several different mission types, shortened down and combined into a 3 to 6 step mini-quest. Each step in the bounty nets you a chunk of Ostrom Standing, and the final step rewards you with anything from a mod, to a material package, to even a piece for the new Warframe Gara. Currently, the RNG is such that the upper tiered rewards are rather uncommon drops, and can take dozens if not hundreds of runs to collect. But by the sounds of it, DE is working on fixing this for the next patch. Number 4. Nighttime on the Plains. As said multiple times by the developers, nighttime brings a new host of challenges to the game, as well as some very cool visuals. The night sky is literally filled to burst with stars, and sets a really nice mood for fishing on the coast. The Gurnier gain a pretty major level spike during the nighttime, but they won't be dropping on top of you as much. Plus, the Tenno aren't the only enemies out on the plains at night. In addition to several small floating frames known as Eidolon Volmolest, there is also the multi-storied titan known as the Eidolon Terrorist. At the time of writing this review, I have yet to beat even one Terrorist, solo or with a crew. To even have a chance of breaking its shield and attacking its armor, you'll need a decently powered operator laser. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows with this new expansion. There are some reasonably annoying challenges that have been added. Cons. Number 1. Quills. After completing the newest quest, Saya's Vigil, as well as the War Within, players will have access to a faction known as Quills. Quills offers a variety of upgrades to the player's operator form, such as weapons, armor, and arcanes, in exchange for standing points. The problem is, the only way to earn standing with Quills is to trade in Eidolon cores, dropped by Eidolons on the plains at night. The reason this is a problem is that cores give hardly any standing, and are relatively infrequent. Take for example the lowest tiered core, an intact core from a Volmvolist. The core nets you 100 standing, therefore you would need 50 cores just to reach rank 1 of Quills. Except no, you'd need 60 cores. 50 cores to get the base standing, and then another 10 for the trade. Players have done the math, and getting to rank 5 of Quills will take 60 kills of the Terrorist. 60. I haven't killed one, and they expect us to kill 60 of these things. I understand that Quills is a new addition to the game, and the operators are a treasured piece of your arsenal, where it's a get-out-of-jail-free card against certain void damage only targets. However, I don't want to be farming cores for the rest of my life. DE, please just give us bounties, just like every other faction in the game, or buff the reward values for the cores. I would like to use this system, but until it's worth my while, I don't really want to do it. Number 2. Focus 2.0. And now we will have a moment of silence for all these Ineric players that lost their precious energy regen. Thank you. I personally don't think Focus 2.0 is that bad. It's just that I don't really understand how it works, and it seems like it's going to take a long time before I get some substantial rewards from it. To be fair, I could be completely wrong and don't understand how all the numbers and stuff work, and I imagine someone will correct me in the comments below. So all in all, Plains of Eidolon is a great expansion of the game that adds a lot of nice new features and a really cool place to play around with. Hopefully, quills, focus, and whatnot will be fixed over time. Hell, in DevStream 100, they talked about working on Focus 3.0. To conclude, I just want to bring up 2 additional things. Number 1, Warframe is up for Best Ongoing Game at the Game Awards this year. You know, that show that Jeff Keighley does? I highly doubt Warframe will win that category because PUBG, Overwatch, and GTA 5 are also there. But it would be really cool if they could get into that top spot. Like, 2nd or 3rd, that'd be really cool. Number 2, I'd like to speak to all the newcomers and returning players to Warframe on PlayStation 4. Hello. Welcome to probably the best free-to-play game on this console. To all the returning players, a lot has changed in the last 2 years or so. So don't be afraid to ask questions about what the heck happened with mods and how Endo works, or what happened with Prime parts in the Void and why are there relics now and how all that works. Don't worry, people will answer questions. And I'm ready to help people understand how this game has changed. Now, to all the new players out there, I want to help you enjoy this game as much as possible. With that in mind, if you don't like grind-heavy games, and you don't like having to do research on how mechanics work, statistics of how weapon scaling and enemy scaling works, and proper strategization and team building, this is going to be an uphill battle for you. Warframe is about self-improvement and learning how to play it, and hours of grinding for cash, materials, and experience. It's a rather fun grind, but it is a grind nonetheless. I'd highly recommend that you get a group of friends together and you all play together and work and help each other. Or meet some new ones through the community. Good luck out there and happy farming.